Terrorism, which is usually conflated with jihad, terrorism is an entirely different matter. The difference really is that we have a definition problem. There is no definition that we all agree on. The United States law, the U.S. Code, gives it this definition. And if you look at this, it talks about the violence that is politically motivated. What for? Why should terrorism be politically motivated? Why put that condition on it? By subnational groups, it says. Why isn't the state responsible for terrorism? There are many states who engage in terrorism. But this definition in the code restricts it to subnational groups or clandestine agents for political reasons. Why that limitation? But that's in the code. The FBI defines it a little better, but not much. It says the unlawful use of force or violence against persons or property. Look at now how we take a definition and stretch it so you can put everything in it, right? So it's not just killing, it's violence, and violence just in itself, the word violence has no objective meaning. I mean, if you slap somebody, is that violence? Yeah. Is that terrorism? Well, who says yes? Because if you consider that bad, actually words are worse than slapping somebody in the face. You can do a lot more harm to an individual's ego. Anyway, so this says property, to intimidate or coerce a government. How about society? How about to intimidate or coerce a church? Yeah. How about intimidate or coerce an entire population of a city? How about intimidate or coerce Muslims? Or Jews or any other minority group. But this thing says to intimidate or coerce a government. Well, actually say the civilian population or any other segment thereof. Now you really broaden it. In furtherance of what? Political or social objectives. How do you even make a distinction between political and social? What is a political and social objective? Anyways, at least there is a definition. In the Islamic legal tradition, it's easy. The word is Hirabah and not Muharabah, which is what some people, because they don't read Arabic carefully enough, and there is an ayah with Muharibun Allah. So the word is Hirabah. It is any crime. A Hirabah is any crime which spreads fear and renders people helpless. If it spreads people and people feel helpless, you cannot protect yourself from it. You don't know when it will happen, where it will happen. So any crime that spreads fear and renders people helpless. No motivation necessary. The action is what makes it a crime. It's like my problem with, such and such killing was a hate crime. I don't care whether someone was killed because it was a hate crime. I mean, killing itself is killing. Why does hate make a reference? And then you have to define whether it was hate or not. I mean, that young girl who was killed and dragged, and we found her body in a pond not too far just recently, and she was out with other girls after an evening worship in Adams Center in Washington, D.C. And they still haven't decided whether, quote, that is a hate crime. Road rage, they're investigating. Road rage? She was walking. Anyway, so sometimes we complicate things which makes it difficult to prosecute.